the whole idea is that we're live right now, and so what I'm going to do is let Linda know that that it's good for her to get on. So I thought she could get on, and then I could get on. I mean, you can get on. So if anybody's watching this, this is behind the scenes work here. So I don't know who's on. This is first time with it all. Okay. So, and then Sharon, when you get on, is there any reason for us to stay on the phone?
No, okay. Not at all.
Okay. Hi, it's Marilee. We're live right now, so why don't you go ahead and click that link, and then Sharon's going to come in as admin, and we're going to get started. Okay? All right. Bye. Call me back on my cell if you have any problem. Bye-bye. Okay. So, let's see. Make the attendee list public. Nah. So I don't know if anybody's in here. Okay, there's Linda. Sharon,
yes.
Like if you want to go ahead and run any chats, or I don't know if you can tell if anybody's here or not. I have 0 viewers so far.
Okay.
But I know there's a delay.
Send me my info for admin.
I sent it to you. I emailed it to you. But do you want to go in do you want to try to go in as a viewer first?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, why don't I give you that link?
Okay.
And then you can get out of that, and then so I'm going to give you the one to go in as a let's see, generic webinar live link. Let's try that. Copy. Can people see my screen?
If you're broadcasting live, yeah, they should be able to see it.
Oh, okay. So, all right. Here's the what would we call this? This is the generic link.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to send this to you. And if anybody's listening or here with us live, we're going to get started in just a minute. This is the first time. Essentialassisting.com. That's why I put it in the email to y'all, like, hang in there, be a little patient. Okay, so, okay, so Linda, how are you doing? Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine.
Okay, cool. And then Sharon's going to go in. We have 0 viewers right now, so that concerns me a little bit that nobody is on. So Sharon's going to go in and see if it's going to work as a viewer.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just going to say if anybody's out there on this call. I don't know if you can see a chat feature or not. We have the chat box enabled. Sharon, you're still on the call, right?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, so are you using that link to get on?
I haven't gotten the link yet.
I sent it to you. I just sent it to you. You didn't get it? Okay, so...
it might be quicker if you send it to savagesoffice@gmail.com, just because it has to go through, you know, Aaron's hosting and
okay.
all that. So
okay, so
there is a delay.
Pardon? Okay, so Savage's office at Gmail. Okay. Okay. So if anybody is,
I see a couple of people, 3 people have commented that they're on.
Oh, you see comments?
Yeah.
Good. All right. Oh, gosh. All of a sudden, people are in. Hello. Okay. Sharon, you don't need to check that link at all. Why don't you just come in as admin? Thanks, everybody, for writing in and letting us know you're here. We're in trial phase, but so far, so good. So we just need another minute or so before we get started. This is new technology. And it's fun, it's exciting, it's a whole new level, right? We're always we're up leveling here, but there's always like technicalities and technical know-how, technical snags. I got to tell you how much time this week, well, even today, Linda and I did a few practice sessions that went live. I had a few people emailing in, we can see your test live on YouTube. So what's happening here, just to give you a little chit-chat till we know we're getting started, you know, in case any of you are interested in this, this technology actually will automatically upload to YouTube. It's live on Google Hangouts. This is a Google Hangout technology, and it's live on Google Hangouts, and it'll go right up into YouTube. So, but the program itself should be is set up to send you a replay if you know you can't stay on the whole time, or if you if you have friends that want to see this, then you know you'll be able to send them they'll get the replay. Well, they'll get the replay link if they register. So how we doing, Sharon? Are you set?
I still don't have a link to get in as admin.
Oh, okay. All right. I did send that to Essential Assisting. So all right, we'll take care of that. So hold on, gang. I've got one other thing we've got to do technically. Have a helper with us, and her name is Sharon, and we're very grateful that she's here with us tonight. And we may be running a chat feature. You know, this is kind of new, like I said. So if you have questions, I'm going to say, you know, let's go ahead and have you write in your questions, and we'll see if we can field them. Hold on, let me send this off to Sharon. Okay. Savage Office.
I must say you are great at multitasking several things at once.
I know. I've got two screens. I've got Sharon on the line. I've got a bunch of folks coming in. So far, we had like over 300 people register for this, which is pretty cool. And, you know, we have several coming in right now. So, Sharon, as soon as you give me the A-OK that you have the admin link, I'm going to go ahead and get started. And thank you, everybody, for being patient. We're only, what are we? Oh, we're only 3 minutes after? Not too bad. We started this process at 1:15. We thought 15 minutes would be good enough time to get situated, but not the case. Anyway, so we are recording, so it's not even like a regular webinar where I can say to people, okay, let's get started, and hi, everybody. So we're recording right now, so it's just a matter of when I decide to officially say, hey, let's get started, which will be in just a minute, as soon as Sharon, did you get it yet, Sharon?
I got it, and it's trying to log me in.
Okay, she's logging in, and in just nanoseconds, I'm going to tell you what you're all going to learn here tonight. It's really, really exciting, and then I'll introduce myself, and then I'll introduce Linda, which a lot of you folks who are on, I'm quite certain, know us anyway. So, okay. How you doing there, girlfriend?
Good.
Working on it.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and get started because I don't want you to wait any longer, everybody. And welcome. This is Marilee Tolen. Thank you for being patient with the technicalities. Sharon is in, so I'm going to go ahead, Sharon, and hang up the phone with you, right? Okay, I think she went ahead and did that anyway. Okay, so tonight is the first of my upcoming interviews with this new type of technology where you're going to be able to see these awesome guests that I'll be bringing in to you, and I'm very, very excited about our guests tonight, and to launch this whole program with this. I'm going to jump right in and tell you what you're going to learn, and then I'll introduce myself, and then I'll introduce my guest. But anyway, so you're going to learn about how to help move essential oils into healthcare, mainstream healthcare, and healthcare institutions. So hopefully you have paper and pen, because this is actually a good note-taking interview. So we're going to cover how you can identify problems and challenges of the institutions, such as the hospitals, nursing homes, and doctors' offices, things like that. Our guests will be speaking to that, in which essential oils can be a solution. Number two, you're going to learn how to identify key players and how to get their attention. So, this is for those of you that want to approach these institutions and, talk to them about moving your essential oils in, our essential oils in. And of course, a lot of us, we are really focused on young living here, so you'll probably hear about that from the guest speaker, but we're approaching this in a generic form. Okay, number three, how to get your foot in the door, some tips to get your foot in the door. And then the best thing, and actually this thing that I'm about to tell you, what you're going to learn here could probably be applied to a lot of things like spas, salons, other places. But 7 ways you can customize your presentation, specifically for healthcare institutions, but the whole idea of customizing a presentation to approach a facility in a bricks and mortar business is really, really awesome. So anyway, okay, so I just wanted to give you a heads up and start out with what you're going to learn so you can stay on, hang in there with this hangout, and have something good to look forward to. So I'm excited to introduce my guest. And my guest is a good friend, a colleague of mine, a client of mine, and an amazing woman that many of you probably already know about. You probably know about her through her clinical aromatherapy certification program, which is just one little piece of her background. But let me just tell you why this woman is so great to bring this information out. She has a background as a critical care nurse, an educator, and an administrator of healthcare institutions, home care agencies, hospices. So, we're going to be learning from somebody who has the skinny on and the background on and the know-how about how to approach people like her. She is a prolific writer. She's also the creator of the Institute of Spiritual Healing and Aromatherapy Certification Program, and now is taking her knowledge to a whole new level and her work to a whole new level as an essential oils consultant, where she will be consulting and coaching individuals as well as helping move our essential oils into mainstream healthcare. So I'd like to introduce you to Linda Smith. Say hello so your screen shows up.
I went to move my screen a little closer and it completely unplugged me. And so I had to totally get back onto the internet. So I didn't hear anything you said, so I hope it was good.
Oh, I talked all about you. Oh my gosh, you should have heard this stuff. You have to listen to the replay here.
Okay.
No, I just, I introduced you as a colleague, friend, client, and coach to many people in the healthcare arena that focus on holistic health as a holistic nurse. Actually, I'll just tell a little story on Linda. I first met Linda in, what year were you Holistic Nurse of the Year, Linda?
1992.
1992. Okay, so I attended my first American Holistic Nurses Association conference, and it was very exciting. For those of you who are nurses, guess who was the keynote speaker there? Martha Rogers,
Yeah.
who, for those of you who don't know, she's kind of like the Einstein of holistic nursing. And anyway, Linda won the Holistic Nurse of the Year award, and that's when I met her. And anyway, so we have a long history, and it's very exciting to see the evolution of some, you know, movers and shakers in this world, and that's been my my great opportunity to watch Linda be a mover and shaker. So Linda, I'm going to go into like some formal questions about the content for tonight. And I'm really also excited because it's pretty timely. I know we're going to touch on some things that are happening in the media with the Ebola virus and things like that. But here, let me just ask, so what do you think it is about the climate of healthcare today that makes it an opportune time to talk to hospitals and healthcare institutions about essential oils?
Well, you know, when things come up in the news, that is such an opportunity for us to really pay attention and to jump on it, not sit back and wait to see how things are going to flesh out. I've been on Facebook a couple of times in the last couple of days, and what I have seen is everybody is very negative about the bringing of the 2 Americans from Africa back to this country, as if we don't have Ebola already walking in our doors in the emergency departments, because I will guarantee you they already are. They are because of our international travel. And, you know, international visitors or even Americans who have traveled to Africa and have come home, they get the first little sign of, gee, I don't feel good, I'm fatigued, or I've got a little fever. Where are they going to run to? An emergency room. Okay, so the fear throughout the United States right now is, oh my God, it's going to be on our shores, we're all going to die. And what the message that we have to offer is we've got the solution. We have essential oils that are highly medicinal. We have to use the right words. They are highly medicinal. They are therapeutic. They are highly antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal. Okay, we know how to protect ourselves and how to keep our immune systems up so that we don't catch whatever it is. And it's not going to be just Ebola. Ebola is hemorrhagic fever. Well, there are many other things out there that are just as deadly. And the more we move into this world of where we have created a race of superbugs, the more opportunity we have to say we need to take a look at nature. Now, there's been a couple of things that have come out on the internet all about the vaccine that was offered to these 2 Americans, which is holding them right now. We don't know. We have no idea if these 2 individuals are going to survive. But what kind of vaccine did they use? They used something with plant biology, plant biotechnology, from plants, Okay, and this is not something that is created just in the laboratory where it's, you know, it's chemicals. No, no, no. This is something from nature. And so I think scientists are going to start scratching their heads going, maybe we have not been looking in the right directions. Maybe we need to look to what is growing right in front of our eyes. And of course, you know, we've been trying to say this ever since, you know, Young Living, you know, those of us who are involved in that, ever since that came into being. And that is, the secret is in nature. Everything that we need for our health is already here. And if it's already here, we got to start paying attention to that.
And the entirety of nature, right? Not just 1 or 2 molecules. We learned that very well.
The entirety. Because that's what makes these essential oils work, is the fact that it is not just a single molecule or a single compound out of a particular plant. It's the synergy of how those compounds all work together. Then you take one compound out, you know what? That oil no longer works. You adulterate that oil, no, it no longer works. So that's the reason why we need to be able to talk to these healthcare executives about quality and about purity and authenticity. And we can do that with Young Living with the whole seed to seal promise.
Yeah, that's very exciting. So let's go into talking about how to move these oils into the hospital, or what are some of the other institutions? There would be nursing homes. What else?
Right now I am working on this big teleseminar series, and we sent out an announcement just this morning, and the whole program is going to be on how to get essential oils into healthcare settings. And so what I'm going to be doing in this 3-part teleseminar is really going through and identifying what are the problem areas in each one of these different healthcare settings. So you look at acute care, you look at outpatient services, you look at post-acute or long-term care, extended care, and then you look at physician services. So like in acute care, you're looking at hospitals primarily, but you just don't contact a hospital and say, hey, I got all the solutions for you. You've got to take a look at, well, where are the particular problem areas that you want to address at that particular hospital. Now, to step back just a little bit more is I really recommend that you look in your own backyard. You don't go looking at hospital systems that are clear across the country. What's in your backyard? Okay, do you have a community hospital? Do you have a tertiary hospital, a regional hospital? Well, that's fine and good, but who are your contacts there? Who do you know? Do you have any personal connection with that particular institution? Do you know somebody who works there? Are you already known in your community as an expert in natural health? Okay, you've got to have some in to be able to talk to these people. All right, now, you have to identify what their problem areas are. So what I do is I don't look at the whole of the hospital, because if you look at the whole of the hospital, it's too overwhelming. First of all, executives will want to know, do you have a solution for a particular area? So you could look at emergency department, ICU, labor and delivery, acute inpatient care, recovery room, radiology. Those are just some examples. Okay, now, do you have an in or know somebody in the area that you want to address? Let's take, for example, emergency department. I actually started my nursing a very long time ago, back in the 70s, as night charge nurse in an emergency room of a major hospital. We had 10 major rooms and 2 minor rooms, and I was the only nurse with 1 tech and 1 doc all night long. Okay, well, most nights of the week I'd have all 3 house supervisors down there in the emergency room helping me, because we had gunshots, and we had, of course, this was in Knoxville, Tennessee, and you can imagine what came out of the mountains. Gunshots and car accidents and stabbings and heart attacks, and you know what? They all arrived at the same time, between 2 and 4 a.m. And so I learned what some of the problems are in the emergency department. Okay, for instance, let me see. In the ER, you could identify, first of all, anxiety, pain, bleeding, emotional upsets, odors, yeah, a lot of those, infectious diseases, fractures, torn ligaments and sprains, heart attacks and strokes, neuropathy, sinusitis, headaches, abdominal pain, kidney stones, neuralgia, arthritis, back pain, leg cramps, staph, stress. It's soup to nuts that walk in the doors of any emergency room. Now, so what you do is you need to find out if the community hospital that you want to talk to, does their emergency department face those problems? Now, how are you going to find out? It's public knowledge. You go to the internet, and we as the public have a right to know. And all you have to do is look up that hospital and get their stats, and you will find out How many visits come through the emergency room? Okay, now that's only one piece. How do you really get a feel for them? I'd go and sit in their waiting room. You know, you don't have to really sign in when you walk in the door. Go sit in the waiting room.
Oh, just for a night out? Just hang out in the waiting room.
Pay attention. What is sitting there with you? Are people coughing and sneezing? Are people throwing up? Are people bleeding in front of you? Because you are gathering information. That's what you want to be able to address to that hospital executive. Okay? So you need to find out, who do I go to? Okay, you can also get that information. Just pick up the telephone and call the emergency department and ask to speak to the nurse manager. Okay, and you get their name, and you say to them, I would like to, I am Linda Smith, and I am an expert in natural health, and I would like to be able to come talk to you about how to protect you, your staff, and the people in the waiting room with natural substances that will protect them against Ebola.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you use what's in front of you. Okay, you got their attention. You get your appointment. Now you don't go in and say, oh, I have 140-something essential oils that I want to tell you about. No, she or he is not going to listen to you. You pick a few oils and you do your homework. You look for the research to prove that this particular oil that you are recommending for this problem is effective. Okay, so you bring your research. Let's just say that you want to talk about lemon. Lemon, you bring the research that shows that it is effective in destroying infectious pathogens. And you bring whatever you can find that will prove that particular point. And you know, and by the way, what else does lemon do? Well, lemon diffused in the waiting room is going to help to decrease emotional upsets and help people deal with their anxiety. It's an antiseptic, it's antioxidant, and it's going to help to improve people's immune systems just by inhaling the molecules of lemon. Okay, and then you can talk about how what lemon oil can do, you know, with all the other patient problems that you're identifying for the emergency room. And
I have a question. What would you say about taking a diffuser in and diffusing lemon while you're having a meeting or a discussion?
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, what kind of diffuser do you want to bring? You want one that is stable, that's not going to be easily knocked over. One that does not involve water. Don't try to bring a water vapor one in because it's too much trouble. And that means somebody has to clean it, somebody has to monitor it, and all this. Okay, you want to use the one that I prefer is the TheraPro. Why? Because you can plug in the whole bottle of oil, and then you show them how to dial it and where to safely put it so that it will diffuse in a large area, but that nobody is going to knock it over. So, yes, absolutely, I would bring a diffuser with me.
Mm-hmm. So, okay, so you covered some awesome stuff so far. You talked about finding out the challenges, and well, actually, when you were talking, it was like you were focusing a lot on the people who were coming into the ER as patients. But what do you think about also really addressing even what the staff is going through, right? The stress reduction and all of that as well, diffusing for the staff as well. So number 2 was how to identify the key players and get their attention. I think that you covered that. And then tips to get your foot in the door. Any other tips?
Okay. First of all, you need to be extremely knowledgeable about how the oils work. You don't need to be a certified aromatherapist. You don't need to be a physician. You don't need to be even a nurse. You can, but what you have to do is know these oils inside and out. You need to know the research, and you need to come prepared, and you need to speak with a certain amount of authority in your voice. You don't go in with going, well, it might, or it may, or, you know, I've heard, or the testimonials. No, no. You know more about these oils than the person that you're speaking to. So therefore, you need to be the authority here. Now, will a certification in aromatherapy be helpful? Well, of course it will. But is it necessary? No. You know, I want to clear that up right away, because a lot of people think that I think that you have to have a certain amount of education in order to talk, and that's not the case. But you do have to be knowledgeable. If you're just getting into the oils, that's not a time to go and talk to healthcare. Okay, you need some experience under your belt. You need to be a user of a product. Don't ever promote a product that you have never used yourself, because they will see through that very quickly. So you need to be a user of the product. You need to be knowledgeable about it, and you've got to come prepared with that research in your hands.
Awesome. So let's talk about 7 ways to customize a presentation for a healthcare institution. And when we're talking about institution, I guess I'm having in my mind as I'm listening to you the hospital setting because of the ER description, everything, but you know, rehabs and nursing homes. You know, I'm just thinking of my experience with my aunt last year,
right,
and you know, months in the rehab, and I can think way back, you know, when my mom was in and out of rehabs after her surgeries, and you know, I would just go in with the oils for her room, right? I would just put some oils on a washcloth or a tissue and put it in her vent, and you know, things like that. But anyway, so what institute do we customize our presentation differently for different institutions?
Yes, you do.
Okay.
Yes.
So can you talk about that?
First of all, when you're dealing with a hospital, it's easy to find who the administrator and who the director of nursing is. That's easy because that's on the internet. You have to know that. Okay, but when it comes to identifying who the administrator or the director of nursing is for a nursing home, you can't find that. But what you can do is you can call up the nursing home and say, hey, give me the name of the director of nursing, or give me the name of the administrator, and then get yourself an appointment. Okay, and as you get that appointment, then you know, you can go in and you're going to customize what it is that you want to say based on, well, what are some of the problems with nursing homes? Okay, and their problems are different from hospitals. And so as you identify those problems, okay, I'll give you an example. They have a problem with elderly not wanting to eat, and the reason is because they can no longer taste. As we grow older, we lose those neurons in which we can smell. So by the time, actually those neurons start to decrease after about age 60. And so by the time you reach your 80s, there's very little that you can smell that's good. However, you can smell all the bad ones.
That's not fair.
I know, not fair. You can smell, you know, the feces and
especially in nursing homes, right? I worked in one for many, many years.
Yeah, you can smell that, the negative ones, but you lose the ability to smell the good ones.
The good spaghetti cooking in the kitchen.
Yeah, right. And so, you know, if you can't smell something, it's sort of like, well, why eat it? You know, because it has, you know, if you can't smell, you can't taste. But there have been some studies done that have shown that if you diffuse throughout the nursing home nutmeg about 15 minutes prior to mealtime, people will come running because they think they're going to get something good to eat.
Oh, that's awesome.
Reminiscent of their childhood, as in cookies, you know, and good things to eat like that. And so that's just one area that you could talk about, is how you can increase eating in the elderly by diffusing in the nursing home. Okay, and things like orange. Orange would be a wonderful fragrance that you could diffuse. So it doesn't have to be one of the spices like nutmeg, ginger, or cinnamon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you gear your talk differently to a nursing home than you would to a hospital because you're looking at the particular problem areas. And and one big problem in nursing homes is staff morale. This is hard work, absolutely hard work. And who's doing all the work? But it's usually the lowest paid, the aides, and the techs. And I know my father's in a nursing home right now, and I watch how hard they work. And it's they're certainly not rewarded with high pay. And so what are the perks for them? Well, perks would be a good working environment. And in order to improve working environment, you can certainly take the tact of how these essential oils can improve a working environment and thus increase staff morale.
Mm-hmm. One of the things that I did many years ago when I was first working with the oils, and it just kind of happened this way because it was the nursing home I used to work in before I went into nursing school. I had some history with them. But what I did was I did an in-service staff. And that was extremely successful because, of course, they were interested for themselves,
mm-hmm.
and then they also happened to have an Alzheimer's unit.
Yes.
And so we had the opportunity to spend a day in there diffusing frankincense and working with their patients. It was really awesome. So I just thought I'd mention that because I had a successful experience with that in a nursing home.
Well, the essential oils are very helpful in dementia units. And there have been a number of people, of course, these are more on the testimonial level, but there's a number of people who have worked with nursing homes and shown them how they can actually do better behavior modification with oils like peace and calming.
Yeah. Oh, and let me tell you another little part of this story is that the administrator, well, yeah, I'll tell you this story. When I was in high school, this is where I worked, right? So I went back. The administrator, when I did the in-service, was the woman who worked in the office when I worked there in high school. So we had a relationship. But what was very interesting is that she was a diabetic, and so she looked in the Essential Desk reference. I took text. I didn't have a lot of research then. This was actually 12 years ago. But looking up in the book was very helpful, and she learned for herself about the essential oils to balance her blood sugar.
Ah.
The dill and the cinnamon. Anyway, she had very extremely positive results with that on a personal level. So my thinking too is like, wow, if we could get to these people of influence, right, and then have them have a good experience for themselves personally, the buy-in is so much better, right?
Oh, it's much better, yeah.
Yeah. So the 7 ways to customize your presentation for healthcare institutions. So why don't we move forward with those?
Well, the 7 steps that I have identified, first of all, is to choose the institution that you want to work with, okay? And then find your personal connection. Is it somebody that you know that's working there? Are you already known as an expert that you use something for an introduction? The other thing I find is who do you know who knows the person in charge? So in other words, can you get an influential person to introduce you? As in, do you have a doctor friend who can introduce you? Okay, why? Because healthcare execs will pay attention to doctors. Okay, number 2, so after you choose a place, you want to narrow down what you want to target, which area, because if you try to cover the entire institution, it's overflow. It's too much information. Okay, and then you're going to do your internet search for the statistics on that so that they know that you know about them and that you've done your homework. Okay, 3 is when you go and make your visit and you observe and you know, and that's going to be adding more leverage to what it is that you want to bring to them. Then you're going to 4, you're going to look up the problems that this place normally addresses and really do some research about those problems. Look up, well, what is anxiety and what are the symptoms of anxiety? Okay, what do we mean by sleep disorders? What do we mean by, you know, dementia? I mean, just to have clear in your own mind what it is that you're talking about, because if you don't have a healthcare background, you're going to be kind of a babe in the woods here talking to these people who are extremely knowledgeable. 5, what essential oils do you want to recommend to address those problems? My recommendation is you keep it simple, that you do not recommend more than 10 oils. Keep it to 10. I'm working with Young Living right now. We're hoping that we can come out with a kit that will just have 10 oils specifically for healthcare. I don't know. I'm making no promises, but all I'm saying is I'm in discussion.
Awesome.
So what you do is you keep it simple. You don't want to pick an oil like sandalwood, even though sandalwood would be a great oil in the healthcare situation.
Why? Tell me why. It's my favorite oil in the world.
Okay, for one thing, the cost. Number 2, availability.
Oh no, why would it be good? The benefit.
Why would it be good? Oh, okay. For multiple problems. Anxiety for one, sleep disorder for another. I mean, you could go on and on about, you know, what sandalwood would be good for. But you would not recommend that oil because of its availability and its cost.
Yeah.
Okay. So what other oils would do the same thing that would be more economical? All right. And just remember, not too many. Then you gather your research on just those oils to address those problems.
I have a question. I want to interject a question here. So if someone's working on building their Young Living business, and they're taking these approaches and they're, you know, addressing healthcare institutions, wouldn't it be a good idea to use some oils that are specific to Young Living, right? Like some of the blends, right? Like, of course, lemon, you know, you talked about that, and I think I keep going back to the nursing home thing because I worked years in nursing homes, and you know, the smell of urine is probably one of the, you know, biggest problems. Lemon is great for that, but other you know, other blends that
the blends that I've identified that really fit for all of them is Purification, Thieves, Peace and Calming, Can Away, and Stress Away. So those would be my 5 top blends that I would be talking to them about. Now, you mentioned if you're, you know, a Young Living distributor. Let me caution you. Don't ever go in and try to sign up any healthcare institution. Okay, you will flat out be rejected if you do.
So what do you recommend?
Well, first of all, let me tell you why you'll be rejected. And it's because most of these boards of directors have already forbidden these institutions from belonging to anything in which the person they are signing up under would financially profit by. So, in other words, they are prohibited from being part of network marketing. Okay, so
what's the solution?
There is a solution.
Yay!
I want you to know that I have lost 3 hospital systems and a whole nursing home system of 10 nursing homes because at that time I was not able to offer to them a solution. And what happened was another company, which I will not name, came in on my heels and scarfed them up because they offered direct sale. Okay, so Young Living now has an account manager for professional accounts. And they get a 40% discount from the retail price. Now let me just tell you a little bit about how that equates out. So let's just say that lemon oil is one of the oils you want to recommend. Retail price for a bottle of 15 ml of lemon is $14.80. 40% discount is $8.88. Okay, it's cheaper than what you can offer them if they signed up as a distributor.
Wonderful. So it sounds win-win.
It is a win-win. Now, will Young Living reward you? Yes, they will. But nobody above you will get anything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, but just know that Young Living will help you because you did all the work.
That's very great information, and I'm so glad you're sharing that with us. I don't know how well known that is.
It is not well known. I am working very closely with the professional accounts manager for Young Living, and she is a great person. She's hard to get a hold of because she is on the phone, all day long, talking with doctors' offices and hospitals and nursing homes on how to get oils into those institutions. So she's a great resource. And so my point is, if you go in and try to sign up an institution, you're probably going to get rejected about that. So don't take that tack. What you want to do is offer them a solution. And the solution is, here's a 40% discount. Now, who's going to pay for this? Well, I will tell you right off the bat that no insurance is going to pay for this. Private insurance will not, Medicare will not, Medicaid will not. Why? Because aromatherapy comes under the title of CAM. It's a CAM service. It is a complementary and alternative medicine, and no insurance will pay for CAM services. It's considered medically unnecessary. All right, so that's not the approach you want to take. You do want to take the approach, though, of showing that institution how these essential oils will save money. So institutions are interested in three things. Money is number one, saving money. Number two is staff morale. And number three is patient care. And it's usually in that order. Now, we would like to think it's patient care number one, and they will say that to you, but the bottom line is, it's actually, what is it going to cost me? And if you present essential oils as this is a nice little addition, you are dead in the water. They are not going to go for it. You have got to prove that it has financial value to their bottom line. Okay, so in other words, how is this purification or this thieves oil going to cut down on infection rate and therefore save me money? That's the tack that you take.
Mm-hmm. And you have some of that information that you're going to be sharing in your class?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm going to go into a lot more detail about that, yes.
Awesome. That's great. So we're working on the 7 ways.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure where we left off. That was number 1.
Okay, I've given you 6 of them. And the very last one is you're going to need to be able to show that the oils that you've selected that are going to address those problems are going to save money. So there's my 7 points.
Okay. Wow. Awesome. So great. Now, I know there were some questions coming in, and I lost the chat box, so I've got to get with my my assistant Sharon here while that is happening to see if I can field some questions.
Well, I can see them. I can see the questions.
Oh, you can? Okay. So do you want to take any then?
Okay, there's one here from a Louise Springer, and she says, would that discount be available to Canadians? I don't know. So she is going to have to call the professional accounts manager in Young Living. I can give you that telephone number. Her name is Mona Beckstead, and the telephone number is 801-221-8731. Again, that number is 801-221-8731. And I would prefer that you actually emailed her, because I will tell you that it'll be days before she can get back to you. So email her at mbeckstead, and that's spelled Beckstead. So it's mbeckstead at youngliving.com, and she will be able to answer that question, because I do not know. Okay. And let's see here. What was number 6? Number 6 is gather your research, and that is the research on the essential oils. Now, I will tell you that when the people who are going to be on my teleseminar, they're going to get an ebook, and there's over 50 pages of research articles that I have found. I have worked for weeks and weeks on gathering all of these, and not only that, but I will give you a synopsis of each one of those research articles, and then I'm going to cross-reference those to problems. But the only way that you'll get that is by getting on my series.
Can you talk a little bit about your program that's coming up, because I think there will be some people interested in that?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'm going to tell you that what you can go to, and that is, you'll write this down, this is long, it's www, my website, essentialoilsconsulting.com, /, and then here are the words: how to get essential oils into healthcare settings. However, there's a dash in between each word, so it's how dash to dash get dash essential dash oils dash into. Healthcare is one word.
We gotta get you a tiny URL.
I know. I didn't have time to do that. Okay, but when you go there, okay, let me just say it again: essentialoilsconsulting.com /, then the words how to get essential oils into healthcare settings with a dash in between each word. Okay, if you use the coupon code healthcare, you'll get $25 off the already reduced early bird price. So that means you're getting $75 off what my regular price will be. Okay, so there's a number of selections there. You can simply get all the electronic and be on the call live, and you'll get the handouts and you'll get the PowerPoint. If you want all of that in a nice, neat little package in a 3-ring binder, then that costs a little bit more. Okay, so
all of that's on your website, right?
All on that website that you go to, and yes.
You're giving people tonight $25 extra off.
Extra dollars off, and so the coupon code word, all lowercase, one word, healthcare.
Awesome. That is great. So another question that I plan on asking all of my guests that I'm going to be interviewing on this show is, what is your favorite essential oil and how do you use it?
People have heard me say this before, but my most favorite oil that I never leave home without, it's always in my purse, it's always in my emergency kit of oils that I carry in my suitcase, and that's peppermint. I use peppermint for everything. I don't care if it's a headache, if it's a, gee, I'm bored listening to this person on the internet that I've signed up for, or if it's for I've got a fever. That's only happened like once, or if it's sinusitis. Oh gosh, all I have to do is for us to go into springtime or fall time, and my allergies kick in and I get sinusitis. Peppermint is my go-to oil. So peppermint I use for everything. Muscle aches, sitting at this computer, geez, I get a pain right there. And that's where my peppermint goes. So respiratory, just a drop in my hands, inhaling it, that opens up my lungs, opens up my respiratory passage. So for me, the simplest of all the oils is peppermint.
Awesome. That is great. Well, we have a few minutes left. Are there any other questions coming in on the chat? Because I
Yeah.
can't see them. So you
I'm seeing that. Okay. Yes, there is the, let's see, what about oils in the dental office? Anxiety is definitely at its peak in my office where we put people to sleep for general dentistry. Absolutely. I mean, if I would start with my own dentist and, you know, work from there and see what you can get. And I'd go in prepared with my research.
I have something to say about that because I worked with, actually he was a colleague of mine in the energy medicine realm, but he was also a dentist, and he started to diffuse lavender in the waiting room and also in some of the suites.
Yeah,
and the diffuser that you mentioned, the TheraPro, is awesome for that because you can run it for 5 minutes every 20 minutes. So that's that's a great place, the dental office, of course.
Yeah. Would the discount be available to Canadians? Absolutely, to anybody who wants to sign up for that program. I'm sure I'll have some Australians signing up for it as well. Here's a question from Anne-Marie Genesid. In long-term care facility, would you diffuse in the patient room or the common area? And the answer is yes.
Yes, to both.
Yeah, both. Wherever. In the dining room would be a great place. In the common room, in the patient rooms, in the nurses' station.
Can we talk about some creative ways in terms of diffusing? Is it possible that they could make, they could use the TheraPro in the common areas, and then they can make atomizers for the patient rooms, or something where they can set up something in the ventilation system?
Yeah, the simplest of all ways is this: if the nursing home cannot afford to put all these diffusers in, is to take a little medicine cup, put a cotton ball in it, put 5 or 6 drops of an essential oil in it, and sit it next to the patient's bedside. That's the simplest. Or have them just sniff the cotton ball. There's just so many creative ways that you can really, help the elderly with what, there's so many problems in nursing homes, and what happens is they're overwhelmed by them, and so people decline very slowly.
Yeah, a few drops on a patient gown, and then actually I think there's some protocols in place for, and I know this is getting a bit extreme, but wound care, right?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Yes, wound care. Well, as a nurse, there's just many different ways that you could go about how to put oils on a sterile dressing, and I am going to be addressing this now. By the way, one of the things that I did not put in all my advertising for this series is the fact that I am going to gift everybody with a protocol book, and I'm writing the protocol book right now.
How could you not put that in your copy?
Because I didn't think of it until after I put it all out. I went, oh, I need to do a protocol book. So I'm going to develop this protocol book on you take a problem like anxiety, okay? You just and you're looking at anxiety from, okay, well, what are the suggested oils? So there might be 5 or 6 different oils that out of your 10 that you're recommending for anxiety. Then it's like, okay, now what oils? Why do I want to recommend, say, lavender? And I'm going to tell what lavender has to do in relation to anxiety. Okay, what if I'm recommending, let's say, peace and calming? Well, first I've got to tell you, well, what's in peace and calming, why each of those particular ingredients might help anxiety. Okay, then I'm going to go into application. How do you apply? How do you use this oil in the healthcare setting? And then what's the safety factors? Why? Because healthcare systems are not going to listen to you unless you can tell them what the safety factors are on all this stuff.
That's very exciting. Okay, so I have a question for you. I'm going to put my hat on as a participant here. Well, I'm also the interviewer, so I guess I can ask questions too. But as a nurse, okay, so I worked in ICU for years, and we did dressing changes. And we always used betadine, and then we used benzoin.
Yes.
Around after the betadine dry, then we used benzoin around the wound, and it was great because it created a sticky surface for our. At that time, we were using Tegaderm patches to, we were doing CVP and central line changes. Things like that. So, and I'm always so curious about benzoin because that is really very similar to one of our 12 oils of ancient scripture, right? So, can you talk a little bit about the history of benzoin? We were using it, and I don't know if they're still using it in the hospitals now. But what's the essential oil name for benzoin?
Well, it's Styrex benzoin. And Styrex benzoin is actually from a tropical plant that grows in Malaysia, and it's similar to like the rubber plant, okay, in the sense that you get the oil by tapping the tree, and so you get this really thick exudate, and then what we learned in the 16th century was to take that exudate and to mix it in alcohol, and that is tincture of benzoin. And it's a very, very sticky stuff. And why did we use it in the hospitals? We originally used it because it was antiseptic, and then we learned to use it because it's sticky. We could get tape to stick to a diaphoretic patient who would.
So it's both. It's antiseptic, and it's great for that. So here's a question, weaving it into the topic. So would this be something that we could talk to the nurse managers about, or some of the administrators about, saying?
No, not that particular oil. No. For one thing, the availability of that oil is extremely limited, so you don't want to.
I'm not suggesting that they get it and use it. Just to talk about the history that essential oils have been used in hospital settings.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
People don't really know that, right? And a good example of that would be benzoin for dressing changes. Yeah. And another example would be Vicks Vapor Rub, right? Everybody knows that. The wonders of Vicks is the eucalyptus. But so I'm just saying, to bring some reality or commonality to them when essential oils or aromatherapy might not compute.
Right. In fact, I would shy away from using the word aromatherapy. First of all, they do not understand the term, and they immediately think you're talking about scented candles. Okay, so I would not even use that term. I would only use the term medicinal essential oils. Okay. And you want to talk quality, and you want to talk purity, and how you can prove that the oils that you're recommending are pure, authentic, therapeutic. Okay, so stay away from the term aromatherapy. It's they're going to think about the ads on television for Glade, because they're using that term aromatherapy.
Right. Good point. Well, we are coming close to our ending here, and I would just like to thank you very much for being my first guest on this interview show, kind of resurrecting my many years of doing the Green Tea with Marilee interviews, but again, now taking it to another level. So would you, Linda, like to give that URL one more time for people who might be interested in learning more about your class?
Right. You go to my, which is my new website, essentialoilsconsulting.com / and then this is the title of the whole program, How to Get Essential Oils into Healthcare Settings. But there's a dash in between each word, with healthcare being one word.
Okay, awesome.
And the coupon code is healthcare, all small letters.
Which is going to get them $75 off?
Well, it gets them an additional $25 off. So the price goes up September 1st. So they only have, just a few weeks here to make up their mind to get into this.
Okay, great.
Okay, there is some important questions here. Donna Marie says, Linda, will you be talking about application into children's facilities, tertiary care, rehab? Yes, I will. And then let's see, use of specific diffuser described or placing a cotton ball would address the issue of incense. Incense is usually not accepted in any kind of healthcare setting, and it's you really don't. I wouldn't even go there. And let's see, what oil do you recommend for facial scarring? Well, I don't know. That's too deep a question for me right now. Okay. Let's see. Okay. I think that's about it. Okay.
There really is a good recipe called Scar Be Gone, and I don't know.
It's about 10 oils in it.
Yeah. So, yes. Okay. Well, again, thank you very much, Linda Smith, and thank you everybody for being on tonight. The pilot program. Thank you for your patience in the beginning. If you were on from the beginning, thank you for your patience in the crazy screen going back and forth, which was making all of us a little dizzy until I found out how to stop that, and also. I did not plan for Prinny to jump up on my lap the way he did, but in order to keep him quiet, if I had to have him there, then I did. So anyway, it was a lot of fun. Thank you all again. We'd love to hear some feedback from you on Facebook or whatever way you can share it with us. And again, take advantage of Linda's offer because she's an excellent teacher, one of the best storytellers you will ever listen to, especially when it comes to aromatherapy history. It's just quite awesome. So thank you, Linda. Thank you, everyone. And good night. This replay will be available immediately. Signing off.